Hello, and welcome to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a Vanguard perk guide. I've already done one for Tactical and Assault, and today we're going to be doing one for Vanguard. So let's get straight into it now. Starting off, you want to go for upper hand after a perfectly timed parry, block, or dodge. You do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. In my opinion, knockback perks are pretty good, especially, for gun strikes and getting your contested health back. In my opinion, just very good. And I don't know the cooldown, if there is a cooldown or whatever, but not getting knocked back for 10 seconds in my opinion is very good. Just ideal. If you want, you could also go for melee mastery. Melee damage increases by 10% against Majora's level and higher enemies, but in my opinion 10% is not all that high, so I just go for upper hand instead. And then we have close combat focus. You take 20% less ranged damage. You could also go for conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. Now, the reason why I go for close combat instead of conviction is because your armor is, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds, and it's only when your armor is fully depleted. Why should I do that when I can just take close combat and just take 20% less range damage whenever and wherever? You know what I mean? I just go for that instead. And dual lists, I mean, this is not a great perk in my opinion. I'm pretty sure everyone's, when it comes to fencing and block, it should be decent when it comes to parrying, so I feel like it's the worst one out of the bunch. And then I go for consecutive execution. Killing 7 enemies in a rapid succession restores the equipment charge by 1. Cooldown is 90 seconds. Again, equipment charge perks are just very good, especially if you have like melter bombs and whatever. Just very nice to have. And then in my opinion, there are 2 perks that you want to go for here. Melee champion is not one of them. All squad members deal 15% more melee damage. Again, it's probably like the worst one here. Actually, no, it is the worst one. You have unmatched deal melee finishes of extremist or terminus level enemies. Additionally, restore health by 30% for any squad members. This is very good. Just getting the health back for every, extremist or terminus level enemy can come in clutch. Always. This is very beginner friendly in my opinion. So your unmatched deal is, is the way to go. If you struggle with, absolute and lethal, whatever, then I would go for unmatched deal. You could also go for inner fire. All squad members can restore ability charge by 15% by performing finishes on Majora's level or higher enemies. Again, that's also, very good, especially if you're like, I don't know, maybe tactical, or maybe if you have like a bulwark in your team who's just, they can quickly get invigorating icon, or, if you have tactical, they can just do all specs. They can do it again and again and again with the right perks. Inner fire is also very good. It's really up to you. If you struggle with, taking damage and you want, health, then I'll go for unmatched zeal. If you're good at the game and whatever, then I'll go for inner fire. And then you have restless fortitude. After a diving kick, you take 40% less range damage for 10 seconds. Now, the reason why I go for this one is because you are playing as Vanguard. You only have 2 armor segments instead of 3, so I just go for restless fortitude. So yeah, range damage is very annoying in this game, and we all know how obnoxious enraged enemies can be. So that's why I go for restless fortitude. And if you go for close combat focus or conviction, just makes it even better. Shockwave diving kick additionally deals damage in a 5-meter radius. Is just trash in my opinion. And then you have collateral damage. Diving kick deals 10% more damage and additionally damage enemies on the way to the grapnel launcher's target. In my opinion, restless fortitude is just so much better, so I'd go for that one. Now you have zone of impact. Performing a finisher with the grapnel launcher deals damage to nearby enemies. Again, you should always be pretty much using your grapnel launcher in my opinion, and zone of impact is just amazing. Not only do you gain your armor segments as well, for the finisher and for a prestige perk that we're going to get into, you just do extra damage, man. So can't go wrong with zone of impact. Tenacity, in my opinion, is not that great. After killing 7 enemies in a rapid succession, diving kick damage increases by 40% for 15 seconds. I just feel like zone of impact is going to benefit you a lot longer in the game. And you have tip of the spear. Enemies hit by diving kick take 15% more range damage for 10 seconds. I guess this is decent as well, but in my opinion, zone of impact is the one you want to go for. And again, we're going to get into the reason why you want to go for zone of impact. And then we have thrill of the fight. After a perfectly timed parry, block, or dodge, you take 20% less health damage for 5 seconds. When it comes to which class is the best when it comes to taking less damage, in my opinion, Vanguard is either top 1 or top 2. He's just good. He has some perks that I feel like tactical needs, because tactical is just a sponge. Well, he's not a sponge. He doesn't absorb damage, but you know what I'm trying to say. He cannot absorb damage like at all. So yeah, below the fight, you also have Grim Determination. When Grapnel launcher is in cooldown, weapon damage increases by 15%. I wouldn't go for this one because when again to the signature perk that allows you to get your Grapnel launcher, you know, recharge. We also do have combat readiness. Grapnel launcher recharge is 20% faster. Again, I just don't think you need it because the signature perk we're going to get into already has it. And that is tactical prowess. Grapnel launcher can activate a finisher not only on incapacitated enemies but also on those who have 33% health. So by the way, if you don't know, you can actually see enemy health. If you just press R3 on them, you can actually see, you know, what health they're on. So that's a little heads up. Except terminus level, I'm performing a finisher. The Grapnel launcher restores its charge. I do need to make a video on this tactical prowess and zone of impact, but yeah, pretty much, you know, you're going to be using zone of impact and tactical prowess, and you're going to keep doing it again and again and again on Majoris and whatever enemies. And you literally like don't even need to use your weapon, I guess. You do need to, you know, deal damage at first and then just, you know, bounce from one target to another to another to another. And that's just how you clear the swarm with, you know, Vanguard. I do need to make a video on this, and I probably will do a build video. So tactical prowess is the one I would go for. You have Emperor's Blessing. Taking lethal damage restores all armor instead of incapacitating you. Cooldown is 120 seconds. In my opinion, like with Vanguard, you just don't go down because of his healing perks, you know, like less range damage. It's just, in my opinion, you just don't go down. And another perk, I guess, which is also decent, is Adrenaline Rush. Melee kills of Majoris level or higher enemies restore health by 5%. Now you might be thinking 5% is not a lot, but when there's actually like a lot of Majoris enemies, you're going to be getting that health back pretty quickly. But again, in my opinion, tactical prowess is just too good to miss on, so I'll go for tactical prowess instead. Now when it comes to your prestige perks, I go for battlefield awareness. If a target is within 8 meters, you deal 10% more range damage. More damage the better, and 8 meters isn't all that far. Because in my, like with Vanguard, you should always be like, you know, up close with the, you know, with the enemy. So yeah. Indomitable Spirit. While performing a gun strike, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. Amazing. What else did I go for? I went for launch restoration. Using the Grapnel launcher restores 1 armor segment. This is going to help you out a ton. You pretty much have 2 guarantees with, you know, armor segments when it comes to getting your armor back. You know, if you use your Grapnel launcher, it's just amazing. And again, if you have perks that, you know, like tactical prowess, where if you bounce to another, you're just going to keep getting armor segments, and like Vanguard just does not die. And I'm pretty sure for the last one, I just went for Fortitude. Health increases by 15%. I mean, if you really want to, you could go for a restoration as well, maybe for Fortitude or something. Killing 7 enemies in a rapid succession restores 1 armor segment. Cooldown is 15 seconds. But I feel like launch restoration is good enough, so I feel like you don't really need it, so I just take health instead. And that is it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know what perks you use, what perks, you know, do you agree with, what perks do you disagree with. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I hope this video did help you out. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, and yeah, peace.